Let's try this again. Okay, I see some activity on the microphone, little thing on the bottom. And also, let me see if I can let go of the other one here. Let me do this. I'm going to be talking here. Okay, live, that one. Okay, videos. Nope. Okay, so let's see. Now I can hear you. Okay, thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? Technology. We all deal with it. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. And even if it's a bit crackly, at least it's better than nothing. Okay. Awesome. What I will do also is let me just see if I can make sure that that other one isn't still up. Yay for sound. Very cool. We'll give everybody a few minutes to find this one. There we go. Manage videos. Live. Okay. This one I'm going to delete forever. Not this one. The one we're on now, because now you can hear me. Okay. Isn't this going to be so exciting for the people? Yeah. Isn't this going to be so exciting for the people who are watching the replay? Yay, we're here. YouTube is alive with the sound of decluttering. The hills are alive. See, now be careful what you wish for. Now you get me singing wacky songs and stuff. Okay. So good morning, people. Good morning. What do we got going on here? Crap, there was a question I was going to answer for somebody. How to get motivated, I think it was. How to get motivated. So, to me, one of the things about getting motivated about pretty much anything that I clued into way too long. Okay, how to regulate your nervous system. Yep, we talked about all the downs. The hands down, the eyes down, the muscles down. The breathing down to into your lungs. I almost said into your legs. You could breathe into your legs too. Slowing down your exhale, slowing down your inhale, your hands down below your heart, maybe your hands on your heart, maybe calming down like the zing of the fur, all of those things, regulating your nervous system. So we've got that. Yeah. And you know what? The petting the hair down on the arms was new to me too, but I thought about that. And if you think about it, when animals or kids get kind of their nervous system, they get anxious. What the heck was that? You think of like the Halloween kitty. Now, sometimes the Halloween kitties are like that because something is going to be there that they may have to fight, a predator, but not us, I know. Why should the cat get all the fun? Yes. Yeah. Pet yourself. Pat yourself. Rub your tummy. Pat your head. Mix up those neural pathways. Pat your head, rub your heart. But yeah, ways to self-soothe yourself, to really say there's nothing to be afraid of here. It's all a bunch of stuff and stories. It's words in my head and stuff in my house. And I can handle those things. Yeah. So taking care of your physical body and then remembering not just once a day, not like a once a day multivitamin, like every 20 minutes or so. Hey, Narelle. Narelle is tuning in from Australia. We're international people. Isn't that pretty cool? So the other thing I think was somebody was asking how to get yourself kind of unstuck and motivated. So let's say your nervous system feels good. You're like, okay, I feel all right. How do I get started? Now, this is where I really think it's helpful to put on your driving hat, okay, to pretend you are driving. You're sitting there in the driver's seat of the car. You're feeling fine. You're feeling better. You're not feeling activated in your nervous system. You're feeling okay physically, all of that stuff. You're ready to go. Well, the first question is going to be, where are you going? Where are you headed to? And I say to you, this is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered. So anytime you're feeling like, what do I do? It can be really helpful to just remind yourself of where you're headed. Now, here's the fun thing. If you look at the picture, if you look at the stuff behind me, Pay no attention to these cardboard boxes of stuff that I have yet to bring down the basement because I am dealing with my own sentimental clutter, but I'm cool with it. Notice over here, because we're on TikTok, that you have the horizontal view. And not only do we have our little here we are, and here's our car getting there, we've got our heart, which is our destination. But the destination really is happiness, is feeling good. So destinations can be big, they can be little, and even the big ones have a bunch of little destinations in between. The daily destinations that also get you closer to whatever that bigger destination is, the chunking it down. So if you're ever saying, I don't know what to do, remind yourself of the big picture of I want, a decluttered home, or, I want stronger abs. I don't know, whatever it is. And then say, oh, that's right. That's what I want. What can I do today to get there? And whatever comes up, write it down. There are different things you can do, and some things will help you get there more quickly than others. So, like going on a stepper machine or cardio is probably going to get you stronger more quickly than walking. But if you can't get to a stepper and cardio, walking is better than not walking. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Also, the other thing is not just claiming a destination, but really hanging out and kind of, I don't say milking it. Like, if anything, milking it would be extracting something from it. I want you to add stuff to your destination. I want you, like, if you've got a picture of your destination and it's in like a photo editing software on or just on your phone, it's a picture. I want you to notice how it feels when you turn up the saturation, when there's more of that there, when the sun is a little bit brighter, when the sky is bluer. Maybe it's a filter that your skin is less wrinkly, you know? Notice how it feels to kind of put yourself in that picture, and notice how, with the power of just our minds, you can feel good as if you're at that destination already. And when you notice how good that feels, even to just pretend to get there for that short bit, that's going to add gas to your tank. At least my theory is that adds gas to your tank to want to get there. But here's the deal, too. We don't just do that and then get there in a crappy way and then say, I won't feel good until I get there. That's not what this is about. This is also about, I like how this feels, and I want more of that feeling on a daily basis. So, what can I do that, yes, gets me to that destination decluttered and allows me to do it in a way that I feel that feeling, a little bit of it, a taste of it every day? And really, the thing that can be simple about that is setting a timer, doing some decluttering, and this is the important part, not dismissing what you did and minimizing it and saying, I didn't do enough and I wanted to do more. No, no. Saying, I'm glad that I did what I did. I'm proud that I went out and weeded for 10 whopping minutes 2 days ago and 15 whopping minutes yesterday. I choose to feel good about what I did, because those 2 times of weeding has got my lawn looking less weedy, and it's going to be closer to being prepared for the grass seed. Does that make sense? Does that help? It's crazy how we can easily sit here and make ourselves feel lousy about so many things. But if we can do that and just sit here and all we do is think and feel, because we're thinkers and feelers, we're not robots or dead, thank God. If you can think to make yourself feel crappy, that means you can also think and make yourself feel good. And there is nothing wrong with that. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. I remember once reading in the paper, and this was an interesting thing about doing that, like feeling like you already did it, kind of minimized people's efforts to do it. And I don't know about that. I have issues with that. I think that's the old way, because the old way of doing things, notice the old way of beating yourself up, of making yourself feel bad, is hasn't worked. You feel crappy and your house looks crappy. So proof in the results. I feel lousy and my house looks like ass, you know? Pardon me for my choice of words. So let's try something different. Let's at least play around with it. And just imagine, like seriously, everybody here, let's play this game. Picture, this is what I call your Barbie dream house, okay? Picture not just any old house, but picture you in your house. Not how it is now, but how you want it to be. And this is when you sit down, you calm down your nervous system, you breathe down, you close down your eyes, and you just imagine walking from room to room. Maybe it looks like it did when you first moved in. Maybe it looks better than that. How does that, and the more detail you can add, the more details you can bring to life, and not just visual ones. How does it smell? What's the temperature? How does it sound? Is it noisy and bustling with laughter, or is it quiet and serene? What do the floors feel like? Are you walking around barefoot? Is it nice, cool tiles? Is it funky shag carpet? How are you feeling when you're using your imagination and noticing? I'm walking into my kitchen and I look and there's clean counters. And there's a few things on there that are decorative that I like to look at. But man, do I just have a lot of clean. There's no dishes in the sink. I open up a cupboard and there's just the right amount of dishes and cup mugs. And I open a drawer and it's easy to open it and grab something to use to make. And I open up a cupboard and there's the right pan for what I'm using. And I can easily use those things. No big deal to do the dishes, put them in the thing. And when I go to put them away, it's easy. I love that feeling. Now, I just have my eyes closed doing that, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. That kind of feeling, I want more of that. And not just in my imagination. So, how do I get to that in my real life? Is I might go to my kitchen and see what's on the cupboard, um, the counters now. Because now I have something to aim for. I know what to look for that's going to feel good. Is that particular counter? I don't want anything on there except for those 4 pairs of decorative salt and pepper shakers. Anything else doesn't belong there, so I'll start there. Yeah. And no, you already know because you pretended you lived in that feeling and you liked how that felt. So now you're going to be a little bit more confident in doing those things, knowing it's going to feel good, not just look good, but it feels good to look at that. And then maybe that 4-foot section of counter is the only thing you did today. But I don't know about you, but have you ever done this where everything else is kind of messy, but you decluttered one place and all you want to do is just go in and look at it? You want to hang out even in that 4-foot section that you can just really groove in. Like you want that feeling. So use the tools you have, your thinker and your feeler, to create a visual of what feels good. And then that can also add gas and octane to your tank to make you want to do a chunk. Now, don't get all robust and go, I'm going to do it all now. You're going to empty your tank and you're going to get exhausted. That will not work. Start with a 20-minute section and maybe another 20 minutes, another 20 minutes. Feel good while you're doing it. Notice this. Feel good while you're doing it. And you really, and this is kind of wacky but cool, you have kind of gotten to your destination already. without technically having everything done and being there, you have a taste of it every day. And I mean, isn't that kind of what a road trip is? Like there's a destination and it's kind of a place you're excited to get to and you want to enjoy the way you get there. You don't want it to be hell, 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 and whatever, and then get there. That's why there are so many unhappy people who treated themselves and other people awful on the way to being like rich and famous or whatever. And they get there and they're still not happy. We're doing it different here. We are, yes, getting a destination because when you have something to focus on, it helps you weed out all the stuff that's not that. We do that to point to get ourselves going, and we're feeling good every damn day. Whatever we do, even if it's only 10 minutes um of weeding or, emptying out some of the dishwasher, we're going to feel good about that. Now, the fun thing is when you feel good about that, those little things may not be enough. You may want to get there more quickly. Just when you do, make sure you're checking in with yourself to say, is this feeling good? Am I enjoying this? Is this good? Or am I starting to feel cranky and not good, like I'm running out of gas? And when you notice that, that is the time to stop. Don't push forward. There's always another day. I would much rather it take you longer to get there and you enjoy the journey than to feel awful during the trip and get there sooner. That's my MO. Okay? So that's what I have to offer to you. Use your thinker and notice how it's attached to your feeler. All right? Now, Louise, hey, Louise. Louise says, I have found since I worked with you one-on-one and listening to your posts, I am more mindful about shopping and buying less. Thank you. Yeah. Because notice when you say, how is that going to make me feel long term? You may notice something that initially you're like, ooh, that's cool. And you may have responded to that initial zing of I really like that color. But then if you get your mind involved and just notice, okay, that's cute. But what am I going to do with it kind of longer term? Especially if I'm already dealing with clutter that I've got. Do I really, 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 really want this? Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. If you really, 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 really want it, notice how you hope it's going to make you feel every time you look at it. Is it going to make you feel good every time you look at it? Or is it going to be one of those, oh, that's funny, and now I'm done? If you can play out those scenarios in your imagination before you ever make the purchase, you will be more likely to buy fewer things and be feeling okay about that. I know all of those things because I've done it. I have responded, like seriously, like this guy right here. It was cute. It was inexpensive. It was the color I like. Does it work well? Not really. Does it help me get my tea bags out of my tea? Kind of, but not well. Will I keep it long term? Probably not. But at the time, I thought it was cute and I bought it. I'm not going to beat myself up for it. But even at this point, I could easily put it into a donation pile and somebody else might be able to use it because I do have something else to get my tea bags out. Okay. So use the gifts that you have been given, your brain, your head, and your heart, and have your head and your heart be the things that guide where and how you move your hands. Whether you hang on to stuff, whether you easily let it go, whether you offer it to somebody else or you're greedily keeping everything to yourself with those hands, notice that the head and the heart and the hands are all connected, and it really does go in that order. Because you can think something, but if your hands aren't doing it, it's because the heart is like, you haven't convinced me yet. You haven't proven to me that this is something that's going to be beneficial to us. So sell me on it, right? Yay, nice to see you, Marietta, and buying less. Yay. And here's the difference. I will share with you. When you don't come from a lot, sometimes the thought of buying less feels like lack, feels like not enough. It feels like not good. I love feeling okay with not buying anything. Okay. Louise, oh, thank you. Louise is saying, Beth, you are a gift that can't be returned. There's no receipt, people. And helping to change our lives one piece of clutter at a time. Yeah. And the neat thing is, right back at you. Because if you guys weren't here, I would not have the ability to get to my thinker and feeler and offer up these things that are helping me and have helped me. And you're helping me and I'm helping you. And that's the kind of world I want to live in. So that's why I'm creating it. I want to show up to help people who are struggling and encourage them to notice the world we live in, the capitalist society that we live in, the consumerist society that we live in, that there are so many other voices in the world that are yelling at you at every possible thing to say you are not good enough until you can buy our product, that you happiness equals buying my this thing. And I say, nah. Sure, I buy things. Sure, I have spent recently, let me think. I can think of 2 examples I will share with you where I have done something which I rarely used to do. I used to kind of fritter away a lot of my money on small little things as opposed to investing in one big thing, even though all those little things probably added up to an amount that I could have bought something big. But I was afraid to spend big money. And even my idea of big money could be nickels to somebody else. But I think of in the past 2 years, I made 2 big purchases that I feel good about, that bring me joy to this day. I freaking delight in them. It's something I used to not be able to do before. And I say this because I also just don't fritter away a lot of the little money. So I have saved up the money to buy the big things. And it's a different feeling than I used to be afraid to spend the money and say, "Oh, I'll just buy this little thing. It's fine." Also, feeling like I had to buy something because not buying something felt like lack, felt like insufficient funds. Now, I go and I almost try to just connect up with the vibe of something. If I see something and it speaks to me, I have a conversation with it and I say to myself, "Do I want to have this long term? Will this add value to my life, not just temporarily, but a little bit longer? What kind of relationship do I want to be in with this thing? We're gonna be living together. You're moving into my house. Are you going to add value to this house, or are you just going to be another piece of junk that gets added to the junk I already have?" And when I have those conversations before I buy anything, I can say, "I appreciate you for what you are. Thank you, but no thank you." And I feel okay then walking out of the gift shop and not buying anything. Sometimes, though, I do. I feel like, "Oh, I like that t-shirt from that thing I went to, and I'm going to allow myself to buy the t-shirt." But then I wear the t-shirt. Okay. So it's really interesting to notice all of those things. We think a lot more than we give ourselves credit for. Hey, this is cool. Laura Voorhees, who woke up not feeling so great this morning because she didn't sleep well. She has taken care of her physical body. She's calmed down her nervous system. She has written down some things that are bugging her visually in a room. And she says, "Now I am starting to work on the spots in the piano room I wrote down on my notepad." Yay. Good stuff. Good stuff. All righty. So I feel like I just talked for a wicked long time. I totally enjoyed that. Do not get me wrong. However, I want to turn it over to you in the newsroom. Where are you struggling with clutter still? Again, no judgment. No judgment. Where have you used some of these tools and found a benefit from them. Put some stuff in the comments, either celebrating your wins and your learning and doing something different, or feeling like you're in a safe space where you can share what you're struggling with, and then we can help you with that. Okay? I'm going to take a sip. I'm going to look over here to make sure that other video was deleted. Yep. Okay, here we are, and we're still live. Yeah. Notice, like clutter, that even quiet can feel nice after cluttering up or filling up a lot of the sound and the space with words. Having a quiet spot just to settle things down, to maybe listen to what's in your heart, your head, writing it down in the comments. That's what it's all about, is finding a way to help yourself get through the day with some joy, heading in a direction that you feel good about, and really practicing something that not many of us were not taught, which was how to stop beating ourselves up and yelling at ourselves, and instead loving ourselves and finding a way to get that to motivate us and doing things with love. I mean, I'm not a religious person, but I know that that's something in the Bible about, embodying the God stuff. You can tell I don't read the Bible because I did not quote that correctly. But doing things with joy in your heart, even if it's not joy, even if you're like, I don't mind doing the dishes. It is no big deal for me to clean up after this meal I created. I don't mind. It's no big deal for me to do some laundry, even though I feel like, even though technically, yes, I just did laundry last week. There are some cycles of stuff on the surface that we even tell ourselves aggravating stories about. Why be aggravated about it? You're going to be doing laundry. And I don't mean this I don't know if this is going to be a surprise to you. You're going to be wearing clothes and eating food and making messes for the rest of your life. Knowing that, the sooner you find a way to have it not activate your nervous system, to not yell at yourself about it, to not complain about it in your head and feel resentful of doing it, the easier it just feels in your body. And who doesn't want that feeling? I want that feeling. And I notice when I don't have it. And then I immediately start to say, okay, I don't like how today felt. What was it about today that made me feel not good? And then I listen and I write it down. And then I say, okay, learning from what didn't work, what could I do differently next time? We're all kind of experimenters and scientists and artists here. I like how that piece of art turned out. I like how that song turned out. This one, not so much. What don't I like about it? I'll do something different next time and see what comes of it. Yeah. Yay, Barbara London. Barbara London checking in to say, I have been using my notebooks for a month now, and it is so helpful. Yay. Amazing tools. I love that. Thank you for letting me know. Also, as a reminder, any of you who did the, I think it was back in July, the notebook party that we had, training you on how to use the party, use your notebooks. The recordings of those are available on Zoom. You guys got the Zoom links, and it's only going to be, well, here's a funny thing. Initially, I said they were only going to be available until the end of this month, but I'm experimenting with just making them public for other people on the list. Um, it wouldn't be as good as live because you don't have an opportunity to ask questions. It's just going to be something that you can have access to, but it can also be a wonderful refresher to see if there is any other tips and tools now that you're using it for a while. How can you pick it up? So just a couple of thoughts, but thank you, Barbara, for letting me know that. I will share with you all using a notebook to get my body, like to get myself going, and using my pen and using my colors and here's the other thing too, is using my whiteout. Like I just got a notification from somebody and I said, I can't make tomorrow's thing. Something came up and she said, actually, that works well because it was going to be hard for me. I had it on my calendar and now I white it out because seeing that empty space between the scheduled things and knowing I have time to recover and time to do other things gives me breathing room. Looking at my schedule when it is very packed doesn't feel good. So I've even noticed myself saying, okay, how many things do I want to actually have scheduled per day of the week? And notice when I get above that I may need to make different plans, you know? Yeah. Thank you, Barbara. So Barbara's saying, I attended the first notebook party and the second. I learned from both. I think it would be great to share with others on the mailing list. Well, thank you. Yeah. As I said, it won't be it's not the live, but the video can be available too. There are so many resources, and not to overwhelm yourself. Just know that if you're struggling with something, that is help out there for it. Yeah. Yeah. Good morning, Patty. Joining late, catching the end. You got 24 minutes, I think, huh? There's plenty of time here. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Now, I want to offer, this is not a sprint. We're not even running here. This is a journey, and the journey, honestly, don't take this in the wrong way. The big decluttering that you're doing now is built up over decades. So you have stuff piled up everywhere because of thoughts and feelings and lack of skill and things that built up over decades. So that's why you've got so much in your house right now. The really cool thing is the skills that you learn to declutter that big pile over time in a way that feels good to you are also the skills that you're going to use from day one in maintaining a decluttered home so you don't make more piles in the future. It is so great feeling to be able to make it so easy to just maintain a decluttered home. To look at the mail and you're not afraid, or maybe you're curious and a little apprehensive, but you open up the mail anyway and you have a process. To not be a big deal when you're cleaning up from something that you're going to do every day of your life, which is just like eating and laundry and in the bathroom. To really be thoughtful about, will adding another object to my house really add value, or will it be just something else to dust? No, I love that. Patty is saying, I really do really well with the notebook. The party was great and helped remind me how not to clutter. Yeah. Not clutter your day. Yes, that's how I look. I don't want mine to be blocked full. That's why I say to people, and yet I do it myself. I have a client. I have 2 clients right after this. I made the conscious choice because somebody wanted to start sooner. So I said, yes, I'm okay with that because I made that decision. Short term, it's okay. Long term, it would not work out. So luckily I can do something about it. So looking at your schedule can also give you a visual representation of where you can stop and pull over and recover. Yay! This is really cool. Laura Voorhees, I love how you're bringing us along on your decluttering journey from today at the TikTok live where you said you didn't sleep well and you had a plan and you're not working on it and you did something. Now look where you are on your journey. Laura Voorhees, just an hour and a half after waking up and not feeling so great and thought she was going to get into her sentimental stuff, she says, I got a few spots decluttered, weeded out a few books. Notice weeding out a few books to donate. And now the spots are visually calm. You look at it, no nervous system activation, visually calm. I smile when I look at those places. Not only is it calm, but it brings a smile to my face when I look there. Yesterday's repotting is joyful too. So see right there in that very smidge at 9:39 a.m. today, Laura Voorhees is now tasting what the destination feels like, because the destination isn't out there sometime in the future. It's right there, that very moment at the end of that mini journey of decluttering and just weeding out a few books and looking at the quantity and quality of the books right there and feeling good and smiling about it. Don't postpone the joy. Don't go aggravating and think the big payoff at the end. The big payoff is not guaranteed at the end. So grasp onto, create the joy. Actively do things to create joy in your life on a daily basis. And yes, you can feel joyful about your decluttering. The fewer items you have, the less you're leaving for somebody else to take care of when you're gone. The better items you have, the joy, more joy you get looking at them. You know, I look up and again, I see this Nelson bubble lamp. It took me freaking decades to expand my nervous system enough to spend that kind of money on a lamp, when for decades I was like, oh, this little cheapy one is fine. But, and I don't know if this will happen with everything, but every big purchase moving forward, or every purchase moving forward, I want to say, is this giving me that Nelson bubble lamp feeling? Or is it, it's not quite right? If it's not quite right, thank you, but no. I'd rather not have it than spend the money and have it not be right. Sometimes you don't know until the end, but I felt really good about this lamp and my patio furniture. So I offer to you, find a place, start to recognize that feeling of when you've made a good decision, a good purchase. And when you go to make a purchase decision, ping out the feeling of how you feel about purchasing that with one that you feel like is that really good purchase feeling. A little bit scary to spend that kind of money, but man, did it work out. I love that. Now, Patty says, I started using a whiteboard in my kitchen, writing down the things I'm doing because I forget to do the good things done book at the end of the day. Okay, I have 2 days worth on the belt. I have 2 days worth on the board and it adds up. Yeah. And maybe your way of doing it, having it visual in the kitchen where you are, maybe that's the way you do it. So it gets it in your face and you're reminding yourself of the good things to do. Notice that it works for me to use the book to write down my good things, but it may not work as easily for you, but find a way to remember the good stuff. A way to not forget the good stuff is to write it down, to take a picture of it. And this has worked for me, so I offer it to you. The concept is the same. How you do it yourself, find a way that works for you. It's just up in command strips. Okay, nothing wrong with that. All sorts of good stuff, people. So there we go. So I offer to you, what are you going to do today to get some joy in your life? And not just regular joy of decluttering. Because there's many ways, we all know, I can go out for an ice cream, I can do this. What could you do today for 20 minutes that you could decide is your step in the right direction decluttering? Notice what people have done already and they're feeling good about it. They're feeling heart, happiness, good. On TikTok, somebody who was the realtor, Patty something realtor, she opened up one drawer, made some decisions about her, I'm imagining the tank tops, pulled 3 out to put them in a donation bag, folded up everything else, shut the drawer, she feels good about it. Boom, you're there. Destination feeling good about decluttering. What are you gonna do today? What are you gonna do today? And yeah, and it's cool. Patty's saying, "I'm gonna put it in my book." Okay. So Marietta says 3 drawers, but that will take more than 20 minutes. It's okay. The 20 minutes is just a guideline. It is. It is. The 20 minutes is to remind you to be aware of time passing. And also, frankly, this is why I use a timer. I use a timer in a couple of different ways. When I know I have to stop a certain thing in order to meet another kind of start time, a deadline, I need to stop this in order to start that. Like, in a few minutes, in about, 12, 13 minutes, I will stop this so I can start prepping for my thing that happens at 10 a.m. But also, the timer is there for when you are not especially enthused about something, but you want to practice showing up for something as opposed to nothing. So saying I can, do this weight strength training class for 50 minutes. 50 minutes is a timed thing. It will be over at this time. I can do this for until the end of time. Excuse me, not until the end of time, until the end of this time block. The other thing too is noticing when you give yourself an end time, like when we do the TikTok live, or excuse me, when we do the when we do the decluttering parties, we do the 20-minute chunks. So you practice checking in with yourself to say, okay, now how do I feel? Am I still feeling as gung ho as I did at the beginning? Or is my energy starting to wane? Am I in the groove right now? Or have I run out of gas? Do I still want to keep on going after the party? Or do I feel good about what I did and I need to start something else? So notice those time chunks are opportunities for you to check in with yourself, to not ignore yourself regardless. If you're getting cranky or crampy or hunched over or you got to pee, but to touch base with yourself and say, how are you? You want to continue going on for another 20 minutes or are you good now? And allowing yourself the answer. Okay. So, what am I going to do? I will put myself on the spot here and I'll give myself a moment. What am I going to do today to get some joy from decluttering? Okay. So Patty is going to do errands. Now, errands are kind of outside returns and figure out what to do with too late to returns. Okay. So sometimes you'll be able to return things and get a partial credit. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Ha ha ha. So, yeah. So notice that will be things you haven't returned is part of decluttering right there. It's items leaving your home. I actually donated some stuff yesterday. So that's kind of one of my things. I think I'm going to go out to the garden, frankly, because that's going to be a time sensitive type thing. Okay. Um, that's going to be a time sensitive type thing because things are going to change. So I will commit to right here. I'm going to write it down and I'm going to write it down on my thing here. I will say 15 minutes weeding and knowing I'll probably get dirt under my fingernails and stuff. And I'll say, then shower. So I'm going to declutter my garden with those big weeds because we need to plant the seeds. Okay. All righty. Michelle says, on a side note, I tried to email you about the pen pal party, but my inbox is 99% because I am making other things a priority, not my emails. So it couldn't send. Okay, here's the fun things. Once I delete enough to send emails again, is it okay to join? It totally is, Michelle. But what I want to lovingly kind of point out to you is that all or nothing feeling. I'm making other things a priority, so I can't do any of this. I offer to you that doing a little bit every day is going to help in a lot more areas. Okay. So, what I offer, Michelle, sure, you can join. But what I would say is this is where the chunking it down can make a great difference. So, if your inbox is 99%, you could set a timer, and this would be decluttering your email box. Notice a cluttered email box is stopping you from living the life you want because you can't send messages or receive them. Do not become overwhelmed with the quadrillion emails you have. This is where you chunk down and you set a timer for 15 minutes, much like when I'm going out to the garden to do the weeding. And you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to sort my inbox, or I'm going to sort my mailbox by largest sized email first. And I'm going to delete any really big emails that are jamming up my email. Okay, so you're doing that now. Cool. What I want to offer to you too is, and I'll just share this with everybody with physical decluttering and email box decluttering. It's going to be the knocking down of the pile that has accumulated. Okay. And changing your habits of email. Now, what do I mean by that? Because it sounded kind of weird even when I said it. Your habit of subscribing to a lot of emails that come in. Your habit of letting them accumulate and pile up. So I offer to you, Michelle, an idea could be, yes, work on the pile, knock that down, and today get in the habit of noticing the emails that come in and unsubscribe from ones you don't want. Don't say, oh, I don't have time. No. Spend 15 minutes doing the letting go and the practicing dealing with your emails on a daily basis differently. That really is going to be the 1-2 dance step that gets you tangoing into a world with different emails. Okay. So I just offer that. So Marietta is asking, how come never any men in these groups? Does testosterone block cluttering behavior? Hell no. No. A couple of things. We have had men show up before. What I think is a couple of things. This is just my opinion. I have no studies, but my opinion and observations are this. Some men can be ashamed to ask for help. Some men don't like hanging out with ladies. Some men have been raised to believe, and so they believe it, that doing stuff in the house is women's work. So they blame their wife for the house, that the fact that the house is is cluttered, or that somebody else is there to pick up for them. Okay. So again, I'm speaking in generalities, but I pretty much know there's a grain of truth with a percentage of people in that way. Yeah, I definitely know for a stone cold fact that that men can be just as cluttered as women, that men can have stories. I mean, if you've ever been a collector of anything, I will tell you, when you get into those hardcore collecting of whatever the thing is, men tend to always be the ones who go deep into that stuff. So you can't tell me they don't have stories about what stuff means and what owning it is and where to put it. But they can be ashamed to ask for help, or expecting that somebody else is going to clean up after them. That's just my 2 cents worth. That and $5-6 extra will buy you a cup of coffee somewhere, right? So, yeah. I mean, trust me, I'm welcoming to anybody. Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice? Yeah, Marietta. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we could cure it with some testosterone? No. I honestly feel, frankly, this will be me getting on my soapbox. I'll just mention this. If more people, let's not even say men, if more people learned how to live a decluttered life, the world would be better, you know? Because people would say, I don't need that item. They would have fewer things to take care of, fewer, it would just, I think it would just improve that deciding I don't need that. But we live in a world, in a society that some people benefit from our impulse purchases. That some people make a lot of money preying on our fears of not belonging, of not having the right stuff, of our feeling of aloneness. So then we go shopping to distract ourselves. Like there are people making money and big bucks fueling their lavish lifestyles off of us making our Target purchases and things like that. So there's not a lot of motivation in some circles to even have people think about their purchases. Because if you think about your purchase, you may think, I don't need that. And then they don't make the money. So there's that. Okay. Now, I'm going to do this, you guys. I'm going to wind down a few minutes early because I have some coaching to do after this, and I need to make sure that I'm feeling good for my clients. So I'm gonna close down about 5 minutes early today. But that being said, today is Wednesday, September 24th. What do we got going on? We have YouTube lives and TikTok lives tomorrow. Then 3 days where we won't have any. I'll be back on Monday. If you're part of the declutter email group, the secret page has been updated, and I'll even check right now. The secret page has been updated all the way through Wednesday, October 8th for the TikTok lives and the YouTube lives and the declutter parties. Okay. Then, just as a heads up, actually, technically, it's updated through October 18th. But that's kind of cheating because the 10th, the 9th to the 17th, I won't be here at all. Okay. So there we go. So yeah, and Patty M is offering. Trust me, I love good people regardless of how their bodies are. So Patty M says my hubby sort of listens on the weekend, and when I watch the reruns when he's here, he doesn't sit still. Yeah, so I am painting with a big brush, but trust me, I always have room for the good people. I have no time for the not good people. Okay, that's how I am. But let's see. Tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's a bunch of TikTok lives and YouTube lives available. There's going to be a bunch of what do you call it? Other stuff. I don't know. I just realized I'm running out of steam. So that being said, it was a joy to hang out with you all. Yay, Lady Bandit cleaned out her email. Yeah, rock on, Lady Bandit. I love it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday, September 25th. Ooh, 7 a.m. I don't know who made my schedule this week. It was me. I don't know what was in me when I made some of these scheduling decisions. I'm learning from it, and I will do differently next time. But I will see some of you 7 a.m. TikTok live. What the what? All right. I'll see you guys. This was fun. Bye-bye.